Behind me, some amazing things are happening in this barn. Horses are getting shoes put on. This is the Tales of Mountain Creek Ranch, and I'm Terry Tucker. I have been having a blast running around the ranch, learning life lessons. And I find that these life lessons are very congruent with the lessons that I've been teaching as a leadership coach for over 30 years. And this one that we're getting ready to do a little bit more on is about why we put quote-unquote shoes on our team members. We're going to learn from Goober, why do you put shoes on horses? And it's going to marry the tales that we've shown about the power of protecting horses and letting horses know that you care and you love them. So we're going to explore a little bit as leaders, how do we do that in our cultures at work? And I'm going to share with you a little bit more in this bit, 5 lessons of leadership. So the purpose of this bit is to really understand what are the quote-unquote shoes, the little things that we should be doing to protect our teams and protect our cultures. I've always said that great leaders, we can't change people. We can guide environments. And so when I talk about these 5 shoes, I'm really talking about 5 steps or 5 things that we must put into or on our cultures so that our cultures are safe and allow our team members to embrace their own empowerment, to embrace their own creativity and innovation. And so I really believe there are 5 things that must be in place in order to create that culture or allow that culture to flourish. And then once the culture has that environment in it, people can orbit around that great culture and develop high performance and high engagement, which are the 2 things that we all want as leaders. We want that deep engagement, that emotional buy-in to our purpose and to our goals. And we want each individual on our team to be able to say, hey, put me in. I got this. I can do this. So we call this series the 5 Shoes of Great Performance. All right, you ready? Shoe number 1, trust. And you're like, okay, Terry, duh. Of course we need trust. But trust is purposely and intentionally led. You can't cross your fingers and go, oh, gee, I hope we have trust in this culture. As leaders, we have to create that trust purposely, intentionally, every single day. We have to work towards building that culture of trust. Trust allows amazing things to happen. People to be innovative, to grab their own creativity and say, I'm safe in this environment. I can do it. I can do it for us and with us. It's a very, very cool feeling to have trust. But trust doesn't just happen. Trust is led. Would you like to know the 3 steps to creating trust? Let's take a look at them. The first step to creating trust is not micromanaging. Anybody working for a micromanager, the end result of that is you don't trust me to do it myself. So allowing the person to have his own head and to turn in the direction he believes or she believes that they should turn in, not micromanaging. So set the finish line, allow the person to find a way to get there, be there to remove obstacles along the way, but trust the person to use his or her own head and not be micromanaged along the way. The second is complete and total transparency. I'm a huge fan of this. I believe this wholeheartedly. Share your stats, share your numbers, share every piece of information you can share that's not protected or personal or is harmful to another human being. Share the numbers of the organization. I had a coach and mentor for years, Dr. James Belasco, who's famous for writing the book Flight of the Buffalo. And Dr. Belasco used to say, how in the world can you expect somebody to play the game if they don't know what the score is, how many inches there is to that first down, how many minutes are left in the game, what I need to do. You got to share everything you can about that situation so that person knows what they must do to create great performance. So complete and total transparency is the second step. And then the third step, which I think honestly is probably the most important, is consistent authenticity, being real, being you. Our leaders should not change personalities and styles depending on who's in the room. You are who you are. Your core values are consistent. You are kind all the time. You are communicative. You are open and compassionate. Whatever it is, whatever you are no matter if the owner's in the room or the most entry-level position on your team is in the room. That genuine authenticity of being who you are at all times is building trust in the moments. So those are the 3 steps to trust. Now let's go in and look at shoe number 2. So shoe number 2 is core values. Every organization has to have them. They're really at our foundation. Some companies call them pillars. Some of them call them axioms or rules, principles. I had the privilege of studying Stephen Covey for a while, and Stephen Covey used to get on his big stages and he would say, principles, we don't break them, we break ourselves against them. Now think about that for a minute. Principles, we don't break them, we break ourselves against them. Basically what it means is I can decide that I don't like something in an organization, but if it's a principle, if it's at the core of what we do, it doesn't matter. It's going to be there whether I'm there or not. So core values are like that. Core values are things like maybe innovation or compassion, creativity. Maybe it's empowerment is a core value. We empower our people. So core values live in our culture because the head of our organization say, by bubbling them up, these are the core values we believe in as an organization. And then the leaders behave their way into those core values. So it's really important for you to stop once in a while and think, what are the core values that I lead this team by, that my team finds comfort in? Think of it as that shoe that Goober put on that horse. What am I protecting my culture with? The belief that integrity is a core value, the belief that honesty is a core value. So shoe number 2 is make sure that you know what your core values are of your organization and that you behave your way into those core values. Believe it? I believe it. All right, are you ready for shoe number 3? I am. So shoe number 3 is learning, like I'm doing right here on the ranch. I'm learning every day about the principles that I find here. So learning has to be a shoe. It has to be deep within our cultures. We have to allow our team members to consistently learn because obstacles come up. And if we don't learn how to get over those obstacles, how to walk around those obstacles, we will not be able to succeed. So learning is at our core. Learning is an important shoe in our cultures. Allow your teams to learn. Allow your people to decide what they want to learn. So I want to share this one little piece with you. I believe a great question for you to take back this week and talk to your people about is, what do you feel you need to learn to be great at this job, at this task you're doing right now, at this responsibilities list you're owning? What do you need to learn to be great at it, to deliver great performance? And then I, as the leader, have to allow you the opportunity to learn that. That's a great question for learning. And that's shoe number 3. This is Baymax. He's absolutely one of my favorites. So we're looking at shoe number 4. And shoe number 4 is community and belonging. This is a big one. And again, leaders lead this. So in community and belonging, we have to create opportunities for people to belong, to be wanted at the table, to know what they contribute and to feel a part of something bigger than themselves. So in other words, we have to create team. We have to create a pack. I had the privilege of working for a few years with the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and I got to go to a couple of enshrinements. And Jerry Kramer got enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he was a big guard. He was a lineman with the Green Bay Packers forever and ever, and oh, he was amazing. And so one day, just in passing, I said to Jerry, how do you think, what did you do to get to the Hall of Fame? How do you think you got here? And he said, Terry, I got here by playing for the guy next to me. I thought about that for a minute. Isn't that true? You always play for the guy next to you when you're a part of something bigger than yourself. You belong. You know what your goal is. You're helping others. You're at the table. It matters if you show up. So great leaders give us opportunities to be able to belong to something and to be wanted and to have it matter if I show up today or not. That's shoe number 4. Hey, buddy. This is Whiskey. Whiskey is a half draft, half quarter horse. And Whiskey's one of our horses for sale here at Mountain Creek Ranch. And Whiskey's going to help me introduce shoe number 5. So shoe number 5 is listening and feedback. Whiskey's good at that. Whiskey tells me when he's hungry, when he wants to, whatever Whiskey wants to do, Whiskey gets to do, right? So feedback and listening is shoe number 5. So shoe number 5 is about being able to connect and to understand what our people are saying. It's like I'm saying as the leader back to the team, I see you, I hear you, I understand you. Those words are so powerful in a culture. They want to be seen. It's like Whiskey sitting here kind of nudging me. It's like, hey, do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you understand me? Do you know that I'm here and that I'm on your team? Listening and feedback is critical. We have to set up important times to listen, to connect, to have not communication, but conversation. Do we have times of the day that our job as leaders is simply to be, to listen, to understand, to hear, to know? Those are our jobs. So when we get nudged, we have time to stop and say, what am I learning? What am I hearing? And then the most important part of that, after that, is to give that good constructive feedback. Praise is powerful. You're doing great. That was awesome the way you did that. Or maybe if you did it a little bit differently, you might get different results. Probably when I think about listening and feedback, conversation, I kind of have this overarching statement that what leaders do is they help me see what I cannot see for myself. They say, like the great quote, climb on my shoulders, see what I see. I want to listen, and I want to give you that great feedback. So that's our 5th shoe. So we have these 5 shoes in our organization that really create an environment of safety. Safety to engage our hearts and engage our minds and to be the best great performers we can be. Why do we have shoes as leaders? Well, Goober told us that. We put shoes on because we care, because we compassionately care about our team members. We want to create environments that allow them to be as absolutely great as they possibly can be. So we learned that putting shoes on, quote unquote shoes, on our employees is a way that we show we care about them and that we love them, that kind of agape love that says, I want you on my team and I care about you as a human being. We thank again the Tales of Mountain Creek Ranch for teaching us a little bit more.